Hello everyone, this is Pilpoh. Welcome to my tips and tricks guide for all the mods 10 to the sky. Now, it doesn't matter if you start off on this world here with the lovely Steve Staycation, or if you start off on any of the other worlds, including the default world, which just has a tree. These tips right here should help you on every single one of them. I'm going to start off with twerk. So if you do twerking like that, you can grow yourself a tree really quickly. Second tip is going to be about vein mine. So if you press the key to the left of the 1 key, you can open up the vein mine menu like that. And if you hold it down and you press it, you can chop down an entire tree just like that in one fell swoop. Now, next up is the Flint Shears from Pickle Tweaks. These are super useful. You can use that vein mine trick I said earlier to get all of the leaves off of a tree. And you can use this in an oak barrel, just like this. And it will make you some dirt. Now, just like that, there's some dirt. What you can also do is if you use a hopper underneath and you put the oak barrel on top of the hopper and you put another hopper on top of it, like this, and you put the leaves in like that, it automates it. It even pulls the dirt out into the other hopper. And you can do many of these over and over and over, put loads of leaves in there. You can also use like saplings and other like vegetation to make yourself some more dirt. Later on in the pack, if you want to get loads and loads of dirt though, the best way is probably by using the mechanical drying basin and putting in some mud, because you can automate mud with the extractor from Zycraft machines. We will come back to the extractor later on. It is a very important piece of machinery that you are going to need later. Now, the next tip is going to be all about the dirt itself. If you sieve dirt, you can get yourself all of these things right here, including grass seed. Now, you can use grass seed on a piece of dirt to turn it into a grass block, which is awesome. It will make everything look nicer. Or you can use 4 of them together to get yourself moss. Moss is used in quite a lot of recipes. And again, there is a better recipe for it later on. And that involves getting 4 of those moss blocks, a bone block and some stone, and then using one of those extractors we were just talking about. Another really important thing that you get from sieving dirt is mycelial spores. Now, these work just like the grass seed on a piece of dirt, except they turn the piece of dirt into mycelium. Bit of a side note, you can place the mycelial spores down like this, but you only need 1 because you can use a watering can. And what it will do will spread it, just like it does with grass. Now, to get mushrooms in this pack, what you need to do is you need to make some witch water. Now, it's the process of turning water into witch water that can have a chance at spawning a mushroom. So if we put some water in an oak barrel and it's got mycelium around it, it needs to have one underneath it at least. We might get a chance at getting, we didn't that time, but we can always get more water. Might get a chance, there we go. We spawned in a red mushroom right there, and there's a brown mushroom. So if you're struggling for mushrooms, that's how you get it. As a side note, you can use a sink that has infinite water in it, and you can pipe into one of these oak barrels, just like this. And then you could even have another pipe to pipe out the witch water, so it will continually create witch water for you. You can also put things in here, so if I get some sand, just like this, it will make me some soul sand. Definitely worth mentioning that if you're going to do some sieving, make sure that you do multiple sieves together, because they will do an area of sieving if you do that. And it will use 2 in this case. Don't think too heavily on the automated manual sieving. Make sure that you look into automated sieving, which we'll cover in a bit. Now, you might have thought to yourself, let's get some automated wood. So you've made yourself a hopper botany pot. Make sure you make one of these drawers. A 2x2 drawer is perfect for most trees. Some trees have 5 things that they output. In that case, you can use a chest or something else like that. But for most things, so for example, I'm using jungle right here because I wanted to get myself some cocoa beans right there. For most things, they only output 4 things. They are quite slow though, so watch yourself when you're making these. Now, my next tip is about compressed stuff when you're doing some compressed hammering. So right there, you can see that is a 4x that we just hammered down into a 4x gravel. So you can do that with several of them, although I will say if you get down to the sand and you try and do a 4x sand, it will still be a 4x sand. It does work though if you do a 3x. And that is because if you do a 3x and then you keep going down to dust. So right there is dust. You see how it fills up your inventory? If you do this one, it will fill up your inventory 9 more times than this, because that's how many blocks are in this, right? So you don't want that to happen. You don't want it spewing out into the world. So yeah, there we go. We can't compress this one down, but what we can do is we can uncompress that, and we can do 9 of these. And you can vein mine that. And that is a lot of dust. I'm just going to stick that in my inventory like that. There you go. You can play this mod pack instantly with your mates with Apex hosting. Now, they're easy to install, just one click. Long-time sponsor of the channel. We use them for the Pilpoh community server, so we really know. And their support is literally the best I've ever seen. I think it's the best in the industry. Link for that is in the description of the video. Next up, we're going to talk about the stone block generators. Now, the stone block generators, you put some water on one side, you put some lava on the other side. And in this case, if you put a diorite underneath the stone block generator, it will produce diorite. It will also output to the top. So you can put a drawer on top and you'll get a drawer full of diorite right there. You can use a compacting drawer as well if they've got a compacting recipe. If you use blue ice and use some lava, you will get yourself basalt, for example. Now, there's a handy dandy thing that has been added to JEI recently, which tells you right there, source block is consumed when you're trying to make some endstone using this. So if you put witch water on one side, lava on the other, and you put a glowstone underneath, you will get yourself some endstone. However, the source block of lava is completely consumed. Now, you can use these singularity tanks or any sort of tank. So in this case, I've got a singularity tank with witch water in it. And this is a bug, but it has been said by the mod author, Lobster John, that he's not going to fix it in this version of Minecraft. So use and abuse this as you will. But if we have a look under here, there's the glowstone. I'm using a gold stone block generator right there from Cobblestone Galore. Now, it is worth pointing out this is flowing lava. This right here is just lava, and it's 1 block up, and it is flowing down. And the reason I'm in the nether is because in the nether, lava flows quicker. So that means that it's flowing down quicker. It's going blah, blah, and landing all of the flowing lava behind these 2 stone block generators right here. And it is generating a load of obsidian right now and a load of endstone. Over here, you can see I've got a load of these different generators over here. So we've got an obsidian one, which again, they're full up right now. I think this one at least is full up. So it's not flowing down. But these ones have got the flowing lava. And you can see how quick the flowing lava is being consumed compared to in the nether. We got this one right here, which is 2 lava right there. And underneath is a netherrack. We got this one right here, which underneath this is a skystone block. And we've got lava at the back there as well. Underneath this one, we've got nothing, actually. We don't have anything underneath this one. We've just got a packed ice and some lava right there to make us some of the cobble deep slate. So, speaking of the cobblestone generator right here, you can put water in a singularity tank like that. Put lava on the other side. You can also just have water trapped in this area. They do give you some as a quest reward, though, so you might as well use them. And what you can do is, if you use a drawer like this, that will output into there. You get loads of cobblestone now. It's awesome. And you can use this thing called a pusher upgrade. Now, if you right-click that into one of these spruce drawers, or a random drawer that you've got, you can actually change where the pusher is going. So we want to go to the north, so that's actually perfect. If you want to change this, right-click like that. You can go up, down, north, wherever. Now, that's relatively easy to make. You need a little bit of redstone and a hopper and just some stone to go around it for the drawer. And what you can do is you can get that to output to a porcelain crucible. Now, this thing here is how you get lava in this pack. So you've probably already done this with a torch. If I pop that down and I put this on top, it says there the rate is 1 times. So that is 3 times. We're getting the cobblestone to go straight into this. What we can do is we can swap it. So instead of being north like this, it's going to go west. Okay, I missed right there. So you need to go all the way back around. So west. There you go. So that means that if I put the crucible right there, it will put in some cobblestone. You can see the cobblestones in there. You are going to want to make yourself one of these superheating elements from Mechanism. Now, that does require a steel casing. And to get steel, you can either use biosteel or regular steel. We're going to use regular steel because the recipe is really easy right there. So to do that, you are going to need some iron dust. You're going to need yourself a hammer as well. Now, the copper hammer, super easy to make. You just need 2 blocks of copper. And you can use this hammer with some of your raw iron that you're getting from your mechanical squeezer or your squeezer setup that you've got. And you can double it. So you can actually get 6 iron out of 1 of your ores that you get. Using this iron dust, you can use some of the coal that you're also getting from sieving and a hammer to get yourself steel dust. Melt up the steel dust, you can get yourself some steel. Make yourself one of these steel casings right here. And you can make yourself a superheating element. Now, if it's over the lava, it is 3 times. If you've got a superheating element like this, it is 60 times. And it's super quick. So, this behind me is infinite lava from Create. Now, you don't really need to set this up. There is an infinite lava cell later on. This is kind of fun, though, to set up. Now, I will say I've seen a load of people set this up. And they set it up in a really inefficient way. There's no wrong way to do things in modded Minecraft, I will admit. But seeing people use 10,000 source blocks of lava to set this up just hurts. So you don't need source blocks for this. You can use flowing lava. What I did right here is I basically had 1 layer of lava. So where this is right here, I had loads of cobblestone. I just did a whole platform of cobblestone. And then I filled this area with lava. And then I removed the cobblestone and it started flowing all the way down. And that is 42 blocks down. So 42 times 128, which is what a chunk is. F3G. This is a chunk right here. 42 times 128 is over 10,000. And the hose pulley from Create, this thing right here, if there is over 10,000 lava beneath it, it doesn't matter if it's source blocks or if it's not source blocks, if it's the flowing lava, it will just act like this is infinite lava. So it won't suck up any of the lava right here. It would just be like, nah, here's infinite lava for you. You can use this in the main game as well. You can stick it in the nether and you can just get infinite lava really, really easily. This was my original lava setup as well, until we did the infinite lava from Create right there. This one right here is just, we've got an ender drawer full of cobblestone. Basically, we're just putting cobblestone straight into the porcelain crucibles. And then we're pulling all of the lava that gets created. Underneath that, we've got that superheating element still. So it is 60 times. So this is good enough, in my opinion, until you get the infinite lava cell. This right here is the recipe for the infinite lava cell right here. You do need unobtainium, vibranium, and allthemodium. In my opinion, that is kind of mid-game stuff. I will say the 256 million mega storage, that is kind of end-game. So yeah, this is kind of a pain in the bum to get, but I think it's very much useful because the amount of space that you save. I mean, technically, we're in a skyblock, so you don't need space. But yeah, if you do not want to set this up, then I highly recommend going for that infinite lava cell. Now, just like the sieving, you shouldn't really invest too much time into automating some of these things that have better automations later on. However, this one's quite fun. So this one is the mechanical squeezer. If you are to get yourself some of these iron ore chunks, you can make yourself an iron ore. You get that from sieving gravel, right? So what you can do with this is if we were to grab the iron ore and we pop it in like that, there you go. That squishes it down and you get 2 raw iron out of it. I think you can get up to, have a look in JEI, it does tell us. There it is, just there. You can get up to 3. There's a 75% chance that you get another one right there. Now, this one isn't as good as if you get the mechanical squeezer, which you always get 3, and you've got a 50% chance to get 4, and then you got a 50% chance to get another one as well. So there it is. The way you do this, by the way, is I've got a redstone clock right here. Very easy to make from Utilitarian. There's the recipe right there. You can make that with some stone slabs and some redstone. You put that next to a mechanical... You put that next to a squeezer, and what you can do is I am just going to... Yeah, get rid of that one there as well. There you go. What you do is you put one on like that. You hop on and you jump up. Okay, you have to get right in the middle. There you go. And then that will fling it up and down, just like that. And then when it's in this position, shift right click another one on there and it will go all the way. You need 2 armor stands for this. You can put a chest next to it, pop one of those in, and it will go straight into the chest. We've got 3 that time. Perfect. Next up, we're going to talk about villagers. Now, there's several ways to do everything in this pack. And one of the ways that you can get villagers is by using your mob farm, for example. And you can get yourself some zombie villagers and you can cure them. Or you can get villagers by spawning them in using Ars Nouveau. This tablet right here will conjure a village. Make sure you don't do it right on your island or anything. Otherwise, it will like overtake your island. But if you can get some of these things right here, which you can get via either sieving some moss, or you can use the market right here to buy each one of these things, then you can spawn in something like this. And it comes with 3 villagers. At least mine did, at least. Now, one really important thing to get whilst you're in a skyblock is the fact that you can fly. And the easiest way to do this is there is a flight potion from Apotheosis. So this flight potion right here, potion of flying for 30 minutes right there. You can get that by using some redstone on the 15 minute. So if we do that one right there, you can get that by using some redstone on the 8 minute. And we do that one right there. You can get that by using some pop chorus fruit. Chorus fruit's actually relatively easy for us to get in this pack because of sieving endstone. You can use that on a levitation potion, which you can get from a fermented spider eye. Fermented spider eye, again, you'll need some sugar. You'll need that brown mushroom. So the mushroom tip that I had earlier, that comes in very handy right here. And you need a spider's eye. You can get that from your mob farm. I'll show you another really easy way of getting spider's eye in a second. You can use that to get yourself one of the potions of levitation from a slow falling potion right here. The slow falling potion, you can get that from an awkward potion and a phantom membrane. So make sure you don't sleep for 3 nights and then you will get some phantoms. It does depend on what biome you're in as well. Some biomes won't spawn in phantoms, so keep that one in mind. If you haven't got any after like a week of not sleeping in game, then that might be why you might have to go out to a different biome. There's also some phantoms in the end. But obviously you want to do this early on. So yeah, get yourself a phantom membrane. Use that on an awkward potion. You can get that from a nether wart. You can get nether wart by sieving some soul sand. So soul sand earlier, where you use sand on some witch water. That's how you can get yourself some nether wart. That's all well and good, but what you can do with the potion of flying is you can use something called a potion filter. Now, I actually did this in my episode 1 for my series, so go and check that one out if you haven't. But all you need is some cyan terracotta, which if you're on this world right here, the Steve Staycation, there's a bunch of it around, so you can just pick it up. You can make yourself a potion filter. If you right click with this, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself, there you go. I've got myself a night vision potion. I'm going to try and do this with you guys right now. So what you do is you right click, you drink the potion, and you instantly take it off using the potion filter if you have it in your offhand. And you can see right there, it has taken 180 seconds of night vision away from me. Now, I have already got night vision from my draconic stuff that I've got on, but ignore that. But let's say we do that several more times until it gets past 3,600 seconds, which, by the way, is 1 hour. You will get yourself an active potion filter. Now, this one is a potion filter of flying, and that means that we have infinite flying. It is linked to the owner of this infusion pylon, which is me. And that means that we have infinite flying forever. Not going to lie, that's probably the best tip in the entire video. And I do it in my episode 1. So, yeah, make sure you check that one out. If you are struggling to get the spider eye for your flight potion, then you can use one of these things, a gateway pearl. Now, the gateway of the Emerald Grove, relatively easy to get. You can just use any kind of flower with an Eye of the Ender. You can get Eye of Enders just by sieving some crushed endstone. This thing is really good. What you could do is, if you kill every single wave right here, it will spawn in cows, chickens, sheep, and pigs. 6 of them. However, whilst you're attacking stuff right there, you can see the first wave is going to be 5 zombies. The second wave will be 5 spiders. Now, there is a quest. I haven't mentioned quest at all, but there is a quest in the bounty board right here that if you go and you kill 5 spiders, so if you get through that, you do get yourself a spider eye right there. I think you get 5 of them. You don't even have to complete it. I didn't manage to complete this in my first episode. I did kill all of the spiders, though, and I got the quest. So we did get flight in episode 1, right? But yeah, all you do is you place it down and then they spawn in. I'm a little bit stacked right now, so I shouldn't die, but if I do die, then that'll be funny. And there you go. There's a bunch of pigs and sheeps and stuff. It is probably time to come back to the extractor. We love this thing. The extractor right here can generate loads and loads of different types of blocks. Now, to get this, you do need some aluminium, or aluminum if you're American. You need some kiwi. You need an item port or a fluid port. The item port's actually easier because you can just use gold and a chest. Pointed dripstone, which you can get by sieving some gravel in a flint mesh. So if you don't have any pointed dripstone, go and use a flint mesh on your gravel and job done. You'll have some. And then you need a piston in the middle and you'll get yourself some extractors. You'll need a lot of these. So keep an eye on the recipe for that. Using this, you can get yourself some amethyst shards. You can get andesite. You can get all of these different materials. One of the best ones that you can get is right here. And that is the dragon's breath. You can also get, I think somewhere in here, it will say, there it is, the dragon egg. Now, the extractor is a little weird. It does say that wherever the green is, where you put the thing that it's going to extract from, it doesn't work like this, unfortunately. You have to do it the other way around. So, in this case, dragon egg needs to go on top of the extractor. So, if I show you right over here, I have got a dragon egg on top of the extractor. This is currently stopped because this is full up. And we've got 2,000 dragon eggs in there. And if you get yourself one of the dragon heads, you can put that on top as well. Again, this needs to be this way around. And you can get yourself some dragon's breath. Be careful with a few of these recipes because sometimes they're not as good as if you use the cobblestone galore recipe. So, for example, if we go over to this one right here, it's only 1.5 seconds, whereas the one from cobblestone galore actually takes like no time whatsoever. You can do this and it will fill itself back up in no time. You can see that. Going up. A notable one is water and dirt with an extractor on top of the dirt pointed up. Will get you some mud. You can use that mud, as I said, in a drying basin to get dirt. We've got ice right here, blue ice, with it being waterlogged. Will get you some ice. This right here, bone block and some stone with some moss around it. This is one of the bigger ones that you have to do. Will get you some moss. And finally, if you put a log and some leaves above it, so like we did previously with the dragon egg and everything, if you put them above it, you can make yourself some bioresin. And the bioresin, if you put it in a drying basin, you can put it in a mechanical one, for example, will get you some blocks of resin, which will then turn into resin balls. And a resin ball is basically a slime ball. Next thing we're going to talk about is the entropy manipulator. This thing is really good at getting you ice. And even better, it can get you snow. If you've got some flowing water, like we do right here, if you make one of these entropy manipulators, it is something from Applied Energistics. So we're guessing that you are going to be using Applied Energistics in this playthrough. So if you do not know about that, then go and watch my series because I use it quite a bit. But what you can do with this is shift, right click on some flowing water and it gets you some snow. Now with this snow, you can use it on a barrel of water like that and you can get yourself some ice. If you get enough of this ice, you can make yourself a... It all comes back to the extractors, I swear. If you get enough ice, you can make yourself a blue ice. Put a blue ice under an extractor and you can get yourself more ice. It is impossible to talk about a modern skyblock without talking about GeOres. It is the new hotness when it comes to resource generation. Now, I love bees and everything, but GeOres does seem like it's kind of OP right now. So use and abuse it, as I keep saying. What we've got right here is the Growth Accelerator Tiers. This is a mod by Safarov, one of the ATM devs. Absolutely awesome mod this. We've got the Growth Accelerator Directional. That would mean that they grow up, and they only grow up. They don't grow out the sides or anything. We've got the Boosted Growth Accelerator, which will just make it go really, really quick as well. So between the two of these, you can actually make them instant grow, like that. In the middle there, we're using Just Dire Things, and if I show the render area, you can see that Just Dire Things is mining this entire area because it's also got hammer upgrade. If I hold shift on there, you can see hammer. It's got auto smelter. It's got drops teleporter. The advanced block breaker is awesome because what you can do is you can tell it to filter on item that you get when you mine the thing. So let's say I'm going to mine this entire area, or I'm going to mine, I don't know, this right here. If I mine it normally, I will get some GeOres. In fact, what I'll do is I'll take that one out. So those will grow. I'm going to turn the render off. I'm going to mine that normally. And you can see right there, we get 24 GeOres shards. Now, what this one does is it will mine the 24 GeOres shards and smelt them instantly. Meaning that in here, we've got diamonds. Because these smelted up turn into diamonds. If I have a look at the recipe for that. As I keep saying, I've got a whole series on this right now. So if you are interested, then go and have a look at the playlist, which is linked in the description of this video. I've always found it quite easy to use some ender tanks to transport lava everywhere. If you put some lava into an ender tank, and then you have a duplicate of that ender tank. In this case, it's white, white, white. If you have another white, 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 it will also have that lava in there. It acts like your ender chest in game. So you could do that, but you do need some Blazerods. It's quite an involved recipe, I will admit. But once you've got one of these, you can do this with some nickel and diamonds. You'll be getting those anyway from sieving. And this one here, again, you need some steel, but that's fine. You'll be getting those anyway. You know how to do that now. You can put down an assembler, give it some power, and if you put in here 4 blaze powder, it will turn the blaze powder into a blaze rod. There are many different ways to get blaze rods, by the way. The one that I'm saying with the assembler, it's just like the easiest, I think, to get straight away. You can also get it via the quests. So if you click on the quest one right there, it will tell you which ones give you it as a reward. Now, tomes is one that you could do, I suppose. That does mean that you have to have a enchanting table. Then you have to get 15 bookshelves. You have to infuse something. And then that unlocks tomes down here. And then once you have a book, you can get yourself a blaze rod from that. But that would only get you 1. And then that one you can probably use for your brewing stand to get your flight potion. So that's a decent way to get blaze rods. You can use that to make an ender tank. I've actually got an ender tank over here for my lava. Right there. And all this is doing, if you right click on this, yeah, this needs to be orange up. This will output to any fluid inventory it can. And the only one that is nearby right now is my my drawer that I've got right there. So yeah, that's a really decent way of doing it. I've actually got my lava set up in a different dimension. And we're getting it into here. Just because we've got ender tanks. Very, very useful. You can even use them for your magmatics over here. Now, these magmatics are still pretty good. These are the 64 times ones. But that there is outputting lava into my magmatic generator. Now, speaking of power, if you want to transport your power all the way around your base super, super easily, look into Flux Networks. You can charge your person as well. I'm using a Eclipse Alloy Paxel right now that uses power instead of durability. And you can see it's fully charged at all times. The way that I'm doing that is I've got this thing here, a Flux controller. So the Flux controller, if you open it up and you go to wireless charging, you can set the wireless charging for all of these slots here. You can't do your main inventory. That's been disabled for like ages. What you want to do for this right here is obsidian times 1, meaning that's 9 obsidian compressed up into 1 block. And you put an obsidian above it, you get yourself some redstone, and you throw your redstone down, and you punch the obsidian. That will turn it into some cobblestone, but you get yourself Flux Dust. You can use this for everything to do with Flux Networks. A Flux plug will put power into the Flux network, and a Flux point will take power out of a Flux network. Speaking of Flux, that's a bad segue, I know, but we've got the Flux Sieve right here. This is what you should be investing your time in rather than the manual sieving. Now, this thing right here, you can hopper into it. So I'm going to hopper this sand directly in there. And you can see we've got a string mesh, and this is always outputting to the bottom. Unless you have a hammer, you can shift, right click on a side. See, it's blue. I can instead get it to output to this spruce barrel instead. You can also give it some upgrades. So in this case, you can make the gold upgrades just like that. Or you can make a diamond upgrade, which is like a compact version of that. Put that one in and it will do 16 things at a time. So right there, we got 16 iron nuggets from that. Right here is the drop log for sand when it comes to the string mesh. So you get a 0.5% chance to get a charged Certus, 3% chance to get Certus quartz, 5% chance to get sea pickle, 8%, 10%, 13, and 20 right there. So That's why we've got these things here. You've also got a chance not to get, like, nothing. So just keep that in mind. You're not always going to get something. But there you go. Right there. We just didn't get anything. And there you go. We got dead bushes that time. Now, as you can see, I've got my whole sieving set up right here. And what I've done is I've used my hammer to, instead of, because these output to the bottom usually, same with the Flux Sieves, instead of having them all stacked up on top of each other, what I've got is they are all facing each other like this. So if we do this, you can see there's the blue square. That means this is outputting to here. This is outputting to here. This is outputting to here. And this is outputting to the top. This right here is linked up with my storage over there. It's a bit of a mess, but ignore that for now. But that is how you can do automated sieving. This one right here is for cobblestone. And that turns it into gravel. This one here uses that gravel and turns it into sand. This one right here uses that sand and turns it into dust. And then this one sieves it. I've also got fortune on my netherite meshes right there. We will talk about how to get netherite meshes in a second. The next one right here is cobblestone, which turns into gravel. Gravel, which turns into sand. This one here does all of the sand. So it does a sand right there. This one here is the cobblestone into gravel. This one here does gravel. This one here does end stone. This one here does cobble deep slate. This one here does black stone. And this one over here does some netherrack. And they all turn into their crushed variants. It's probably worth pointing out that you can use one of these things over here. A stack upgrade omega. This thing is for netherite tier stuff. So if we have a look how to make it, you need to make this 9 times to get yourself one of those. However, it does make it so that this chest right here, every single slot can hold max int worth of items. If you want to get a quickie mob farm set up, then the best way to do that is by using Dreadful Dirt. Now, to get Dreadful Dirt, you do need to make yourself one of these things right here, a GM chicken feed cursed. So to get that, you might need like a bucket of essence or fluid XP or whatever you've got right there. Now, the easiest way early game is to make one of these things behind us, a singularity drain. And what you can do with that is you can stand on top and it will just drain the XP out of you. So if we have a look down there, you can see it's draining all of the XP out of us. And you could do this. Get yourself some fluid XP buckets. And you can use those to make yourself the GM chicken feed. You do need a spider's eye. You do need some rotten flesh, gunpowder, and a bone. And you need any kind of seed. It doesn't need to be the demon fruit right there. But still, you can make yourself one of these GM chicken feeds. You do need to feed this directly to a chicken. Sorry, chicken. We're going to have to do it, I think. And there you go. You get yourself a rotten egg. So I accidentally broke these ones right here. So it's a good excuse for me to use that on the dirt right there. But it does a 5x5. So if I used it in the middle, it would have done this entire area. I've already got it. You get some dreadful dirt. You can tick accelerate this, by the way. I'm using 2 of these redstone clocks underneath. And it will just redstone tick all of these things right here. And you'll get more things spawning in. So if I do this now, and I remove all of the light from in there, it will start spawning loads of these for us, which we can smoosh up. I did an episode recently on how you can like completely automate all of this. This smooshes up everything. It will always set my level to 45. It gets all of the enchants off of everything. Yeah, crushes it up. And it can get your Apotheosis all the way up to Pinnacle in like no time whatsoever. I will have a cheeky link to that in the description of the video. Now, it is kind of important, actually, this whole setup right here, because you need to get yourself, from Apotheosis, a blue rare item. And that gets you one of these luminous crystal shards. Now, if I hover over this one right here, you can see any rare affixed item. Now, you can get that if you pick up any affixed item. And if I do Control T, this is your Apotheosis rank. There you go. You can see that I am currently on Haven. You can go up to Frontier if you want and hit Activate. You can go back to Haven, hit Activate. You do have to unlock these and yeah, you hover over it and it will tell you exactly what you need to do that. If I have a look in the detail info, right here, you've got a 4% chance that if you kill anything, it will drop a rare affixed item. Now, if you do up yourself to the Frontier, and we go activate on that one, you can see you've got a 10% chance, so it does go up and up. We go up to the Ascent, and we have a look at that, we get a 50% chance, so it's actually pretty good that you will get a rare item right there. Perfect. We're going to go back down to Haven because we don't need it right now, but that means that if you get one of the shards, which you need to get from one of the salvaging table, you can use this with some of these gem-fused slates. So that does mean you need to get some gem dust. We'll talk about how to get gem dust in a second. You can use the smithing template diamond upgrade with one of the netherite ingots that you probably already have because you're getting loads of netherite from sieving some blackstone right there. You get ancient debris. And you can make yourself your first smithing template netherite upgrade. Now, once you've done one, have a look again, and you can do another one just like this. So, yeah, make sure that you do this recipe right here. I see a lot of people actually not understand because they see this recipe and this recipe as the same. But this recipe right here is the one that you want to go for. You need to go through Apotheosis for that, though. So keep an eye on that. Now, at the time of recording this, there are no bastions in the nether. In All the Mods 9, there were no bastions in the nether, and then they added them later on. So I gave the tip that there are no bastions in the nether, and I really annoyed a bunch of people. So for right now, there are no bastions in the nether, but there might be in the future. You never know. What you want to do to get some gem dust is you want to throw a couple of the gems that you get from killing stuff on the floor. Get yourself an anvil, drop it on top like that, and they will turn into gem dust. Final few tips is I'm going to talk about the marine fisher. This thing is amazing. What you can do is you can basically leave it, and it will get you some ink sacs and some Nautilus shells. And once you've got a couple of them, you can fill this up. Now, I can take that one out, and it will get us something else in that slot. I don't want anything else other than these ones right here. So I've just left it with these in these slots. And what that will do is it will get us ink sacs and Nautilus shells. They're the really annoying ones to get in this pack. However, I will say the merchant has got a lot better since we first started the pack. In the merchant, you can now buy bee spawn eggs, cat spawn eggs, dolphin. You can get a cow spawn egg. And a really good one down here is the squid spawn egg. So if you do want to get some squid stuff, then you can always just buy the spawn egg, kill the squid. Job done. Later on in the pack, you might be wondering where you get soul lava from. So to do that, you do need to suck the soul lava out of the warden right here. So my warden is very damaged right there. But what you do is you have a fluid laser base, blue laser lens, set it to a depth of around 60. And then you can use some laser drills, and that will produce, you can basically see that there's soul lava being sucked out of the warden right there. To summon a warden, all you need to do is put down a skulk shrieker, which you get from sieving some endstone. You use one of these skulk cores on there, and it turns it into a skulk shrieker that you can jump up and down on, and it will summon one of these wardens right here. Use a stasis chamber to hold the warden in place. Poor guy. And finally, I'm going to talk about shaders in this pack. Now, I'm using some of the shaders that come with the pack itself. What you want to do is press O on your keyboard, and it will pop up shader packs. I'm using the complementary Reimagined plus Euphoria patches. However, I'm also using, if we go to shader pack settings, the popular settings right there. So change the profile, and you get this amazing looking. Look at the stars out there. Beautiful. And finally, I just want to say there are no stupid questions when it comes to modded Minecraft. You can do things 100 different ways with 100 different mods, and it will still get you the same result. So if you do something in a different way to me, or you do something in a different way to others, then awesome. That's what we like to see. Anyway, I'm going to call it here. If you've got any questions, let me know. Chuck them in the comments. You can join the Discord as well. It's completely free to join. There will be a link to that in the description of this video, along with the playlist for my single player series. So if you are interested, go and have a look at that as well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for joining, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.